Hello friend, welcome to Shark Jets. I'm Skidvis. In this video, I'm going to show you how to open a door with your mind. Okay, maybe not your mind, but with a camera. Now, maybe you want to do a cool cinematic opening, or you just don't want to touch door handles because they're pretty gross. Whatever the reason, I'm going to show you how to do it. However, before we do, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Actually, it's 2 buttons, right? But go ahead and hit those buttons so that I can keep making these videos. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here we are in a brand spanking new Unity project. The first thing I'm gonna do is bring in some assets. So let's go find those. I like this Polygon starter pack. It's got a bunch of cool stuff and it's free. Link in the descriptions. So I'm going to download that and install it. Okay, now we're done with that. I'm going to bring in some of that. Actually, they have a demo scene, so I'm just going to click into that and ignore any errors that comes up here. And let's see. We need a door. There's a door. So, first thing I want to do is put the camera right where the door is, right? So, let's click on the camera and go to align with view or move to view. Let's go with align with view. That's the one, right? So now the camera is right here. So just to make sure, I'm gonna switch to a 2D view and just move that camera so that it's directly in front of the door. And now we're back in 3D and okay. So we've got this door. I need to close this door. So how do I do that? I'm gonna find this door in the list. I'm gonna move it up this list. I want it at the top of this, just to make it easier to find when I'm doing things. All right, so we have a door. Its rotation is currently 31. So I'm gonna move that. Let's just say -90. Cool, so now the door is closed. I'm gonna create a target object, which is where the camera is going to go. So I'm just gonna create one right here. Just gonna go create empty. And as you can see, it puts it at the bottom of the door. I'm actually gonna take it out of the door and just make it its own thing. I just wanted it to be at that location. So then I'm gonna move it up so that it aligns with the center of the door there. Then I'm also gonna bring it inside the room. I don't want it to just hit the door. I want it to be, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the room. So that's our target, right? Now I'm gonna rename that object to target location. Target location. Cool. All right, now all that's left to do is to put a script on the camera itself. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna create a new script called Cameraman. And open that up. All right, so first things first, we're gonna need a few variables. So I'm gonna delete the start function because we don't need it at the moment. And then I'm gonna punch in a few variables here. All right, so we have a couple of variables here. The first one is a Boolean called isOpening, and that's just going to determine whether or not the door is opening, right? If we are animating it or if it's closed. The next thing is a quaternion. A quaternion is a math thing having to do with rotations. Look it up. And it's called new rotation. And what we're gonna do here is basically set the door's rotation from -90 to -180, which is going to open the door further. The other two variables we have are two serialized fields, which means they will show up in the IDE, in the editor. And they're just going to be transforms because we need positions and rotations. So the first one is called target location, and that's that empty object that we created that's going to determine where the camera stops at. And then of course the next one is the door itself. We'll need to know where and when it is so that we can modify it. So let's go ahead and go back into the camera and set these two items up. All right, so in the camera, we've got the script down here. Let's go ahead and collapse all this other stuff. So we've got the script, which has the two transforms that it's looking for. So we'll drag the target location to target location, and we will drag our door into the door. And that is that. We can close this and go back to our script. And now we'll punch in some code to move the camera to the target location. Okay, so here we are in the update method. We're gonna want this running every frame. We're basically gonna set our transform position. So since this script is attached to the camera, it's gonna get the camera's transform position. And then we're gonna use vector3 move toward, which basically takes two parameters here. It takes three, but it takes two as far as locations. So the first parameter is where is the object now? So that's the current transform position. Where do we want to go? That's the target location position. And how long do we want to take to get there, right? So every frame it's going to move 1 times time.delta time. So let's go ahead and test that, and it should make our camera go right through the door. Yep, that does what we expected. Now is when we start having fun though. We don't want the camera to go through the door. The door should have a collider around it already. Yep, it's got a box collider right here, so it should stop anything from going through it that has a collider and a rigid body. So we need to put that on the camera. So let's go find our camera real quick. All right. And we're gonna put a box collider on there. Okay, so there's a box around the camera. We want to adjust that. We don't want it to be that big, so we will take it in around the sides, take it in around the top, and just make it more like a missile, right? Because that's what cameras look like, more like a rocket. All right, so that's that. And then we will also add a rigid body so that it actually impacts things. We will turn off gravity, otherwise the camera will fall to its death. So we've got a rigid body and a box collider. We've adjusted the rigid body or the box collider to fit the camera a little bit better. We've disabled gravity on the rigid body. Great. So now if I start this, we should bump into the door. There you go. That works as described. So now we are no longer a ghost camera. So the next thing we'll want to do is add a trigger. And so I'm just going to add an empty cube, not an empty cube, but a cube. And bring it over here. I don't know where it's at. Hello, Mr. Cube. So now I'm going to put this cube in front of the door. A little bit closer there, make it about as close to the door as possible. I'm going to resize it so that it fits the door some more. Perfect. That's good enough, right? And then I'm going to turn off its mesh renderer because we don't want to see the cube. We just want the cube to be there. And then we have its box collider so that the cube is still there, and we're going to set that box collider to be a trigger, right? We don't want the cube to actually stop the camera. We want the camera to go through it and trigger something. So we'll go ahead and click is trigger, and now we'll go back to code. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna need another method in here. So I'll go ahead and whip that up real quick. All right, this is really simple. It's just an on trigger enter. So whenever the camera hits a trigger, it's going to enter this method. And all we're gonna do is set that isOpening variable to true. Now in the update method, we will check to see if that variable is true. So I'll go ahead and punch that in real quick. All right, so this is basically now just going to check during each update if that isOpening variable is true. Then we're going to perform a rotation on the door. We're going to use rotate towards, which is a lot like move towards, but as you can imagine, it's going to adjust the rotation. So it's going to take the door's current rotation and the door's new rotation, which we specified up here, -180 from -90. And then how fast it's going to take for that door to open, we're going to say a float of 90 times time.delta time. Let's go see what happens when we try. Boom, just like that. So what's basically happening, if you're keeping along, the camera has a box collider and the cube also has a box collider. So once the box collider on the camera reaches that cube, it acts as a trigger, which changes our variable from false to true. And while it's true, the door will rotate to the new rotation while the camera is also still moving forward to its location. Boom, and there you have it. Would you have done anything differently? If so, let me know in the comments. Also, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching. I'm still Skidvis. Peace out.